mean, just moving on to how we sort of run as an organisation, now that time has progressed and we became a registered charity, and we sort of had various pitfalls along the way. So what's come out of that is a more structured approach to how we work. So we're sort of an official organisation. But we've got our trustees, and that's myself, Rachel, who's our treasurer, Ben, who's a secretary, Kirsty. I don't know, half of these people won't mean anything to you probably, so I had to apologise. But and we've got different roles within the organisation. All our trustees are really proactive, because you do get some boards of trustees where they just go to feel good, whereas our trustees are really, really proactive, and they all take on additional roles and get out there and do things, which is really beneficial to us. And our key areas of focus, we established through various things that we did, and getting things right, getting things wrong, that there is a clear difference between education and young people. So we were thinking, well, we're educating young people, therefore we're working with young people. So we started going to fetes and events to try and promote ourselves to young people and spread the message. But we were taking stands like that was talking about, you know, Lloyd Foraker being brutally beaten to death, and trying to promote our educational resources, and we suddenly thought there's 5-year-olds. You know, and that's when we realised there are two prongs to this. It's not just, you know, actually our education is focusing schools and teachers, and actually it's not focused at young people. But obviously we want to engage with young people, so we therefore decided to split it up into 2 branches, as well as having the organisation itself as a focus, because one of our key areas is wanting to make ourselves sustainable. We want to be here long term, we don't want to just be here for the short term. So that's the three areas. The organisation is all about focusing on income and fundraising, promotion and expansion. And the education is sort of development of resources, because we're currently developing a new resource, in-school lessons and workshops, which we just discussed, and we do ad hoc teacher training as well occasionally. And the youth branch is dealing with the community events. There's one going on today at Hamilton Park that we've got some of our trustees are manning a stand there. And also like youth engagement, and I mentioned at the start about the youth cafe very briefly. I mean, that's going to be a process that's going to develop over the next year. But that is sort of us trying to go into the youth engagement side of things, so giving something to young people.
Is that like youth clubs and that?
Yeah, it's similar. All the youth provisions in Taunton close at 9 o'clock, and there's not a great deal. The old community centre, which is the building that is now totally demolished, that was burnt down next to Tesco, yeah. They promised to rebuild that, but that was burnt down 10 years ago now. Yeah, but there's all that asbestos problem as well with it. But and since then there hasn't been anything, and certainly nothing that stays open past 9. And let's face it, even the best behaved kids don't tend to go to bed at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. You know, people stay up later now. So we want to provide something that's going to meet young people's needs, and our approach. Yeah, exactly. I
know some kids like being out late at night, but some kids don't, because they have that because obviously when they see you and they see that must put a bit of fear into them, and thinking, well, you know, if we're out late, this is something that could happen to us, like, you know.
And it's providing that safe environment. The council did some research and saying, well, what do you want? And one of the biggest things that came out of that was they just wanted a warm, safe space to socialise. They don't want to be sat on a park bench. And they don't want people complaining about them and making out that they're negative people. They just want a safe place.
They all get together and sit down and talk.
Exactly.
And even the parents know where they are, and they know that they're in a safe environment.
Yeah, and that's what we want to try and work to provide. And it's also something that we want to put young people in control of. So, you know, we'll be forming a youth board with schools and youth centres and youth offending, hopefully, to get a real mishmash and make sure we meet all the needs of the community. But that's a process that's going to be taking us, that's a long-term aim. But as an organisation, the organisation side of things, we obviously want to focus on income. So, you know, we might be a charity, but a charity, people immediately think of, oh, it's all free. But unfortunately, particularly in this climate where grants are very competitive, very difficult to come by, we've been really lucky with our grants recently. We managed to get some Home Office funding, which was a reasonable chunk. But then again, you know, they're so specific. You know, when you apply to a grant, it's got to be for this, it's got to be for that. And it's trying to make that money stretch as far as possible, which is what we want to do. So if we can find a cost-saving exercise to make that budget go further, that's what we try and do. So basically in the meantime, what we're trying to do is build up an income so that we can be sustainable. And so we do that through DVD sales, because we do have the DVDs we sell, so they can stream it free online, but a lot of people choose to buy the DVD. And that's, in some cases, just their way of supporting the charity. Fundraising and sponsored activities, grants, and services are the main things, and we're trying to build up the services now over the next sort of year to try and get really much further into schools. Promotion and expansion, obviously, that all comes with sustainability as well. So doing talks, conferences and presentations. We've taken on a PR and marketing firm that are very much focusing on getting our name regularly into press and stuff like that. Partnership and sponsorship with other organisations. BJ Dixon Walsh, who are chartered accountants and own this building, or co-own this building. That's the reason we've got the venue for free. So it's little things like that, in-kind favours. Obviously getting a bigger presence online. Celebrity support. We're supported by Jason Fleming, who was in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. And also Wretch 32 did support us for a time. Advertising, awards, obviously awards that we'll apply to try and give ourselves some credibility, and we recently got the Citizenship Award from Taunton Dean. And obviously working with authorities, particularly on this new project, you know, the Somerset County Council, Taunton Dean Borough Council and all the local authorities are really on board with that. In the education branch is obviously our lessons in school, our new programme, which is peer education, which is basically getting young people 17 to 25 teaching secondary school kids. Kat's a peer educator, and we've just literally finished putting our first lot through. So they've just got an evaluation to do, and then after that they will get a BTEC award, which is obviously beneficial. I mean, you've got a career, so that's all right, but there are a lot of young people out there that don't. So the idea is, now that we've got 4 people through, we're going to promote, and that's something that we'd really like some help with, to promote that in colleges and schools. And it's just a case of getting the stands and being able to man them. And then hopefully we'll train up another batch of people over the summer, ready to start the next academic year. And then there's the workshop days that we ran that have now kind of amalgamated into the peer education and lessons. So we kind of adapted to deliver them in school, teacher training, and the resources. And we have got a new resource, which is a 3D interactive resource that's currently in the editing stage now, which Josh is heavily involved in. So hopefully that will be sort of launched later on in the summer, so he'll get invited. Be well cool.
You know, obviously this DVD service.
Yeah.
Do you give them a pack or anything to go with it? You know, if parents wanted to take it home, yes, their children have watched it in school, and they want to share it, or their children are out of school age but have heard about it. Is there like a way that they can sort of home teach and show them the...
I mean, a lot of it we rely on the internet rather than sending out a pack, but all the DVDs have an insert in them which explains about the charity, what we do, and where they can find more information. But most of it, you know, it's relying on the internet, and they go to the website and print out lesson plans and stuff like that, which obviously if you're homeschooling can be easily tailored. But that's something that we haven't had much demand for from the homeschooling, but then people don't get in touch all the time.
No, I just wondered.
And then obviously the youth side of things, the college and community events and the youth engagement that we've discussed. And just an example of our work, this is the advert that O2 ran in the cinemas, but it basically depicts our workshop days as they originally were. So it's just an example. This is at the Taunton Academy. Back in 2005, my brother was killed. He was walking back from a friend's birthday party, and for no reason whatsoever, he was beaten to death. It was such a needless loss of life, but it was also so devastating to so many people. Hi everyone, today's about violence and its consequences. I started the Stand Against Violence campaign back in 2005. I wanted to keep his memory alive and also use what happened to him as a way of stopping it from happening to other people. Even if we just save one other person from going through the same thing, then as far as I'm concerned, that's a success. I'd love to see everybody saying, I don't want to live in a violent society. I'm sure one day we'll get there.